Hola, estamos aquí en Hablando de Discapacidad. Hoy tenemos una invitada muy especial. Anne es GP y nos va a explicar muy bien cuáles son esos primeros pasos que necesitamos para lograr tener un diagnóstico asertivo sobre lo que puede llegar a tener nuestros hijos. Así que, Anne, muchísimas gracias por acompañarnos. Nos sentimos muy felices de que estés aquí. Y Anne habla en inglés y nos va a hacer todo este video en inglés y vamos a tener subtítulos.
My name is Anne Saunders. I'm a general practitioner who works in Melbourne, and I have an interest in paediatrics and in terms of helping family negotiate the health system in Melbourne. I wanted to discuss with this audience about what GPs can do for you in terms of helping your family assess behaviours in childhood and changes in function that can happen in kids in childhood. Many children develop at their own pace. There's a huge range of normal in childhood development. So not every child rolls over at the same time when they're a baby. Not every child gets the same vocabulary in the first and second years of life, especially when that child's being raised in a bilingual home. There's often a little slowing down of language as they learn two languages at the same time, not just one. And you'll also notice that children develop differently in terms of social and emotional regulation, in terms of whether they play together with other children or have parallel play, their ability to make eye contact, their enjoyment and engagement in things like humour and social context can be very different at different stages. However, parents do come into my rooms all the time with questions about, is this normal for my kid? And the most valuable thing is often they bring their children with them, which is so lovely. And we have a play in my consultation room together, and we discuss the things that the parent or the child might be worried about. And if there are questions that I cannot answer, there are a whole lot of specialty referrals I can make to find the answers out together in a journey that we take between the parent and the child and the health practitioner. The types of health practitioners that are available to families include psychologists to discuss issues with regards to emotional regulation and social skills, physiotherapists who might be helpful in things like motor movements and issues with motor skills development or use of bodies, occupational therapists who may be very helpful in developing strategies to help children adjust to different environments, like the different environments between homes and childcare centres or school, in terms of providing tools and resources to let children be comfortable in the environments that they have to exist in. And speech pathologists who are very helpful in terms of assessing the acquisition of language and formation of words. Hand in hand in a speech pathology assessment would of course be getting an audiologist to do a full hearing check to make sure your child has the capacity of hearing everything that they should according to their age and stage. One of the things that I always find amazing is that children actually have different capacities to adults and that their capacities develop and grow. So these assessments might need to be done once, or they might be done in a way that is recurrent to check that your child's progress is tracking on a line that's consistent with them developing in a way that they should be. The last, of course, that I haven't discussed here would be getting a vision check, which you can do without a GP referral at all, and go to an optometrist to get your child's vision checked. And this is a common thing, especially as children need to interact with classroom boards and also with iPads and devices. Often getting serial review of their eyesight is just a good idea to do. Ultimately, the culmination of doing one or several of these assessments will be for you to either come back to your GP and have a discussion, and maybe be referred either to a private paediatrician who is a children's doctor who has specialty knowledge in growth and development of children, or at one of the outpatient services in the children's hospitals which provide these services under Medicare for free. Inevitably, with private paediatricians, there is often out-of-pocket costs, but you may be able to gain access to their specialty knowledge sooner. With the public clinics, if your child needs them, there is a triage process that their public clinics go through, which prioritise children in terms of need. So the more severe your child's problems are, the more rapid your access to specialist care will be through the public outpatient services. One of the things that I encourage my patients to do is to advocate for themselves. You are always allowed to call the hospital and ask, where is the process of my referral? Has it been triaged yet? Has it been reviewed? When will I get the answer to when my appointment may be? And so this is a process that does take time and organisation. And of course money. So often if you're trying to arrange some of these reviews in the community setting around working hours and your life as a wage earner, you'll try and find appointments outside of working hours and in the community. Some of the things your GP can do to help you with this journey is writing up something called a general practice chronic disease management plan. And it sounds a bit silly because it's talking about a chronic disease when you're talking about a kid. The thing to appreciate is that in children, the administrative requirements of these plans just require that you are questioning the possibility of a developmental or learning disorder. So you can actually write them up for a provisional diagnosis of a developmental or learning disorder. And what they do is that they allow you to access up to 5 services in any calendar year where the government pays approximately $50 towards the cost of that service. So if you need to get the audiologist assessment, or you need to go and see a speech pathologist or a physiotherapist to start the ball rolling on the assessment of what's going on with your child, these GP management plans can assist in covering the cost of these. But it is a bit of an administrative process in that you need to see your GP at least twice to get them all the Medicare requirements satisfied. The last thing is to talk about the fact that accessing all of these quite complicated services when your original language is not English is an absolute labyrinth. It's a maze that everyone has trouble negotiating, regardless of whether English is the first language or not. So there are a number of resources that we're going to attach to this video about different pediatric or children's information about medical assessment with this talk, including the Raising Children Network information, which is the sort of one of the excellent places to get information sheets for parents about children's development. The Children's Hospital website, which also has a lot of information about processes of navigating health journeys through the hospital. It also has an interpreter website link where you can actually choose to get an interpreter involved for any of your appointments at the Royal Children's Hospital. So if you identify that English is not perhaps a language that you're comfortable asking questions in, or perhaps need some assistance in understanding some of the big words that are routinely used in medicine, you are always welcome to ask for an interpreter. Oftentimes, if it's done ahead of schedule, they can actually get a person in the room with you, but at the very minimum, they can get a person on the telephone and have that situation where the doctor talks into the phone and then passes the phone to the patient and you talk. And it goes backwards and forwards like that through the consultation. And that works That's the minimum we can expect from healthcare services in Australia. No one in Australia expects you to understand it all in English every time.
And thank you so much for sharing with us very good information.
Thank you so much for letting me be on your podcast. And it is wonderful to think that everyone can get the medicine that they need. You know, that's the idea in the end.